Well, I'm gonna say this, right? But before I big up, before I give big up to everything you're doing, big up to talking yourself, to speaking your life into the life that you wanted into existence.
Hmm.
I gotta I gotta say, like, yo, are those spiral stairs behind you?
Yeah, man. This the new little pad. I just moved here in October, but I'm
Well,
not
listen,
gonna.
we gonna let the horns blow for that, goddamn it. We gonna, we gonna let the we gonna let the horn blow for that, bro. Um, so at a very young age, you knew what you wanted to do. It
Yep.
seemed like you followed people's path. You gotta go to school in order to be successful. And he was like, yo, I tried it. This is what I want to do. I knew it from a young age. And like what you're saying right now, it reminds me of Biggie Smalls in the sense of like Biggie's first album was he's all of that stuff he was talking he didn't have
Hmm.
in the beginning. And I used to read Word Up magazine, Salt and Pepper and Heavy D up in a limousine. Like he spoke all of that into existence. And it seems like you did the exact same thing. And for that, I salute you for that, right?
Appreciate
So
that.
so you talked about Against All Odds, you talked about BLS, you talked about DJing for high school parties and proms and all that. When I think about you and your career, right? You literally have made DJing into like a business. Like explain to people the business the business aspect of it all because people just think you show up, got a
Hmm.
bunch of equipment, you plug in, you play, on to the next one. Like everything that you're talking about takes a lot of work in the background to make happen. Like talk about the business of being a DJ and how you can create multiple streams of income. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because the mixtapes, Against All Odds, Traveling the World, WBLS, So talk about the business of it, the business
Well,
aspect of it.
let me see. About 15 years ago, I created my own LLC. Like I had to get my own, EIN, my own number, so this way I can take all of my income and write it off. I haven't worked for anyone really for over 20 years because I
God
would
damn.
myself. I would put I would put it into my business account and I would give myself a salary. And then whatever else I had extra, I would use that money to invest back into the business as far as equipment, sound, vehicles, promotion, marketing, business cards, posters, CDs, so on and so forth. So I would use whatever resources that I have. Like I started from the ground up all by myself. And it was tough, but I was able to make it happen. Um, as far as Against All Odds, I had to DJ for them for free for a year just to prove to them that I can increase their sales. That's basically how I got my job with them because I knew a friend of mine who was a manager at one of the stores, and the owner of Against All Odds is a Korean man by the name of Kenny Kim. He wanted to have an appreciation party for his employees. So the manager knew me, and he called me and asked me to DJ for the company. So when I did the grand opening for them, they enjoyed it. And then I told the owner of the company, I said, listen, if you like this, let me DJ for a year for free in your store. And if I help increase the sales, then let's discuss a salary. So within that year, I didn't make money from the company. However, they gave me the option to sell CDs. So I was able to make whatever money that I can by just hustling while I'm DJing in front of the store. Before you know it, first I was only selling 1 to 5 CDs a day. Before you know it, I was moving 200, 300 CDs in a day just off of DJing in the mall. So that really helped me get more exposure, like I said earlier. And when I would take that money, I put it into my business account, but then I would take half of it and then have CDs to give away for free, or I have enough to get some business cards or flyers. Like I was always thinking of how I can pull in more customers to pull in more revenue. So that worked out for me well for that first year. Within that 1 year, I helped
Okay, I'm gonna
increase
call
the
you back.
Woodbridge location by 40%. So they were ecstatic about that. And After that year, they made me the marketing director of the company and started me with a $50,000 a year salary
I
at
didn't know
19
that, bro.
years old.
At what?
At 19 years old.
Bro, I didn't know that. I knew some of the story because we talked about it a couple of times. I didn't know that part. I didn't mean to interrupt. Continue, please.
That's all good. So and when they started me with that, the company only had like 4 stores. So now they like, well, all right, we put you in marketing. What else can you do? Because a lot of people don't know Against All Odds was a so-called hip hop shop, but they were owned by Koreans. So the Koreans didn't really know hip hop. Don't get me wrong, the owner of Against All Odds knows hip hop because he was born and raised in Queens, New York.
And that's where their first store was, right?
Yes, the first store was in Queens, Jamaica,
Absolutely.
Queens.
Yes.
But as he became bigger, you know, he's a Korean guy. He had a lot of his Korean family and friends that were still in Korea, where he would send for them, bring them to the United States to get their citizenship, give them a job, give them a place to live, and build a life here in America. So I'm not mad that he did that. Like if I was in his shoes, I probably would have done the same thing. However, I feel that some of the people that he placed in high positions helped break the company down because they didn't know the culture. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't care about the culture. So that is part of the reason why I left Against All Odds, because when I was there, they gave me a salary, they gave me a budget to create a buzz for the company. So when I was marketing director, I was able to have celebrity in stores. I was able to have them sponsor Summer Jam. We had dancers come to the store. I brought everybody to the Jersey Gardens, from Jadakiss to the Jabberwockies to Redman to Lauren London. The list goes on and on. Like I've brought all types of people to different grand openings. And
Yo, you brought Nunu to Jersey Gardens?
Yeah.
God damn. Continue. God damn, my bad.
Yeah. And shoot, that's just Jersey Gardens. Like I've done in stores with Mike Jones when he was hot. I did him in Paramus. I did Jadakiss in the King Prussia Mall. I did Styles P in the Rockaway Mall. Shit, the list goes on and on and on. Then I had some of my dance crews come and start performing in the stores. I had this group called Envy, and they created their own buzz, and they started to DJ not DJ. I would DJ while they danced, and we would come and create a crowd to come to the stores. And they were able to go on tour with me and Against All Odds, and I helped them create a salary. And you know, they began to sprout, and then they started having their own dance contest, which Against All Odds sponsored as well. So besides just DJing, I brought all of the elements of hip hop to Against All Odds. We had the dancers. I had graffiti artists in there. We had the DJ, clothing. We had the celebrities. So it was a great thing going on there. And we lost a lot of the big vendors because, once again, a lot of the people that was in charge didn't really know about the culture. So in 2012, they filed Chapter 11 of bankruptcy, and they had accounts with Jordan, Nike, Timberland, True Religion, and all of those companies. Once they filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy, they had all of like millions of dollars of merchandise that they still sold but didn't have to pay it back because they filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So with them doing that, that burned a lot of bridges with some of the biggest companies that we had with Against All Odds. So that's why you don't see Nike in there no more. You don't see Jordans. You don't see Timberlands, or you don't see, well, now you see North Face, because North Face and South Pole are like, they're both originated from Korea. A lot of people don't know that either. And
so they
South
stick
Pole,
together.
Yes. And South Pole's owner is the brother of the owner of Against All Odds. That's why if you go to Against All Odds, you'll see all South Pole in the front of every store, because that's what they want the customer to see first. So it was a lot with Against All Odds. I don't regret leaving them, because I reached my max. Some of the some of the people that they put in charge of the company didn't feel that I deserved what I was getting. I think at the end of the day, was jealous because at one point I was making a lot of money, and I would come to work in a brand new car, or I would have nice things that they probably couldn't afford. But I worked hard for my shit, and I deserved it. So once they put this other guy in charge of my department, I don't want to say his name because he's still in the company now. He fucked everything up, basically. So I said, you know what? If you don't want to give me what I'm worth, I can't stay here no more. And I left the company in 2017, and then just started doing my own things with the weddings and stuff. So like now that I'm getting older, I focus on doing more weddings. However, I had this little kid that used to come to the store at 10 years old. He used to always come to Woodbridge Mall and just watch me DJ. And his mother would drop him off, and he would stay there for hours. So one day I'm like, yo, man, where's your mom at? And he told me, he said, you know, I asked my mother to drop me off because I want to watch you and learn how to DJ. So I was like, well, your mother didn't, I don't know, she didn't even okay this with me, but if you want to learn, I'll teach you. So every weekend he would come to the store. He told me he never met his father. He doesn't have a father figure in his life. So I said, you know what? I'm going to pull you under my wing. And from this day forward, I'm going to call you my nephew. So my nephew, now 15 years later, he is the DJ for Against All Odds. So if you ever hear of a kid named JT, that's my nephew that I've trained since he was 10 years old. Now he's 24. I helped him graduate from Berkeley College. He still DJs in Against All Odds, and he also works for Pepsi. So that is that's like my little guy right there. Like, I'm so proud of him, and I'm so glad that he didn't go the wrong route, because he also ironically lived on 18th and West End, which was 2 blocks away from where I used to live at. So once he told me that, I said, you know what, I got to do whatever I can to help you become the best DJ that you can be. Not just the best DJ, but the best businessman, the best man, the best person that you can be. And, you know, he's still in my life right now. That's my guy, DJ T. So if y'all ever go to Jersey Gardens Mall, give my man DJ T a little heads up for me.
So I just want to say, everybody who's new to the TKB Report, I'm your host, Mr. Three Keys. This is the TKB Report. You know, make sure you follow at the TKB Report, and you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you subscribe to the podcast, the TKB Report.captivate.fm. So, and everybody who's on the show, for me, make sure you go and follow DJ Ran. If you're getting married, or you're getting divorced, or you're having a baby, or you're having whatever, make sure you hit him up, you know. But speaking to you in this little bit of time, you need to change your title from DJ Ran to like CEO. Like, you play music, you produce CDs, you've increased people's revenue, you've put people on, you've been on tour, you've groomed and mentored people to come up and do great things. Like, you sound like a Diddy, Russell Simmons, Suge. So you are more than a DJ. Like, it's clear with all that you're saying. And I just want everybody to know, including you, I created this platform, you know, and make sure you hit, you subscribe to the tkbreport.com, where you can see more interviews like this and other content as well. I created this platform to celebrate New Jersey legends for sure. I've had people on here from Cali, from Florida, from North Carolina, from all over the place. But it's always special to reach out to my own and give them their flowers while they can smell them. Like, your career, and you're not old by any stretch of the imagination, is legendary. Like right now, it's legendary with all that you've done for the culture, for all that you've done for the state, for all that you've done for other people to help their careers take off. And for that, I wanted to bring you on to this platform to celebrate you, and for you to tell your story and be inspirational to other people coming up who may have aspirations of being their own boss, who might have aspirations of, you know, following your footsteps in any way, shape, or form. And you kind of giving the blueprint. Bet on yourself, and, you know, you're not going to do yourself dirty. You know, so for all that you've done for the culture, for the state thus far, man, I just want to say salute to that. I just wanted to give you a chance to come on and tell your story so people can, really see what DJ Ran is all about other than being Jersey's fastest hands. So salute